Welcome to Immediate Review. We see a movie in theaters and review it immediately. We saw 1917, Sam Mendes's 1917.
AKA The Tracking Shot.
Yeah. Walking simulator movie, like whatever you want to call it. That's what we saw.
Okay, I'll go first on this. It's first of all, there is no denying how technically impressive the movie is. And, you know, I get it. A lot of war movies have been made. And you got to bring something fresh to it. And so, there's this creative idea to do kind of what Birdman did and see if you can make it look like one take. It's not actually shot in one take. It's a bunch of takes pieced together.
It's composited.
And not only that, but sorry, it's false advertising. It's made to look like 2 takes. They do a straight up fade to black. Hours have passed. Cut to black.
Yep.
Hard cut to black. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but I've heard so much hubbub. It's one shot. And then in the interview, he's like, we needed to make it look like one continuous shot. And it's like, there's 2! Fuck, whatever.
Yeah, he takes a nap.
You even said, like, it went to black, and you were like, the end.
Yep, exactly.
There's so many wonderful shots. I mean, the storyboarding, my God, on this, it's excellent. And the production design, it's incredible. It's fucking amazing. And the extras, there's so many extras, and they've all got accurate costumes, and everyone's dirty and gross, and it's just it is lavishly produced, and technically impressive, but the script is super hollow, and the story is really hollow and dull, and just kind of every cliche in the book. There's very little stakes if you see the trailer, honestly. I feel like attempting to shoot it in one take limited their potential. I genuinely feel like it restricted what they could do and what they could use the camera to convey. And when you have a script that's kind of this dull, you need to let the camera do the talking. And the only word this camera knows is tracking shot. And, for that alone, Roger Deakins shot it. Guy who shot your favorite movie.
Yeah, it's like
The Shawshank Redemption.
It's like we know that he can do good shit, and on a technical level, it is a feat to be able to do what they did, to use gimbals and cranes and cars and people, and the whole coordinating of how they did the scenes is very, very impressive. But there's just this butt tacked on in the end. I don't know if you're finished, but
all I'll say is it's like, it's kind of mixed, but not really, because I never want to watch this movie again. I was kind of, I was ready for it to end. I think all the nighttime sequences could be cut. I honestly thought they were all pointless. I mean, there's some gorgeous shots, but it had some of the goofiest, like, action sequences in it. Like he just leaves his gun behind and just, I don't know, stuff that I didn't really buy. And then when he meets the woman, it just, like, goes on and just, like, you're my baby, and just, that whole thing should have been cut. It went on way too long. And the tracking shot just made it feel longer. Yeah, I don't know. So mixed to negative review for me, but I respect it. I do. It's, some movies can be so bad they're good. This movie's so good, it's bad.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. So like, I'm pretty mixed as well. I've never felt this way about a movie before, because like Dakota said, it is like, for on the technical levels, this is a marvel. Like, it is incredible what they're able to do here. And I mean, I could tell watching it, like, just based on how the script was kind of laid out, that our our main character, the one who's in the trailer the most, he's he's essentially our main character.
Yeah,
And
I knew he was gonna live.
yeah.
Knew the other guy was gonna die.
Yeah. And the second I knew it, it was probably around, like towards they just made it to the other side of the trench, and they're talking about the Medal of Honor, and one guy's like, "Oh, the Medal of Honor is so awesome," and then the other guy's like, "No, Medal of Honor's like not," and it's like that's what every Medal of Honor like survivor who a recipient who's still alive says about it. We actually had one guy who lived here in Bend, and we've seen him like speak and whatnot. He passed away last April, I believe, but that's like what he said. He jumped on a grenade and it like blew him up, and he survived, and he saved like everybody in his bunker, and he got the Medal of Honor for it. And he was like, "No, it's not for me. It's about the people who didn't make it." And so it was pretty predictable beyond that point. It's like the script wasn't great, but the story was decent. It was a war story.
I thought the script was bad. I thought it was straight up bad, man. All the conversations were very dull,
and
short. When they tried to have like spicy, fun antics, it was all just like very lame.
Yeah,
First draft, dull
it didn't do a good job of like really.
It's gonna get nominated for fucking best screenplay too, it is boring, man. They even have to exposition. He liked to tell funny stories, like
and that's one thing too that was done, and I'll get into it. There's a lot of interconnected things that I have to discuss here. So like from a story standpoint, it makes sense. It's a war story. Like it's like these people, like they're gonna go and do it. It's like whatever, okay. And so it's like everything is like believable. Everything looks beautiful. The sets are fucking amazing. Costumes are amazing.
Yeah.
And the way that they do like sound design and whatnot was good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best and like worst part of the movie is the cinematography. It's like technically so incredibly proficient, and at the same time is the biggest negative of the movie.
Yeah.
For one, I was motion sick through a lot of this movie.
All right.
Dizzy.
Yeah, because there's just so much just swooping cameras. Not only that, but the motion was blurry when they would move. Not just the camera moving, but like when the people would move, it did not look good. And is that why you got up and walked out?
Yeah, well, I needed to go to the bathroom, but it was just like it was a double take of like I'm gonna go to the bathroom and get myself like 5 minutes away from this blurry ass fucking motion, because like while like so there's a lot of people who are like music producers and stuff. Today's age, they're in this mindset of like there's too many options and whatnot, and when you start like racking like gimbals and things like that, it's like gimbals are like it's like ideal. It's like here, get robotic like stabilized motion. It's like why wouldn't a filmmaker want that? And this whole movie is like is a gimbal shot. Like the whole fucking thing is gimbalized, and it just gives it this like weird like robotic look that like made me sick. And like I don't know, like because I've been in this mindset of just like stable shots. Like I want stable shots because we do video production work on the side, and it's like now I'm less fucking obsessed with stable shots.
Well, you gotta know when to do it.
Yeah,
you gotta balance it out, and the stable shots have to mean something. And so when all this intense shit is happening, and the camera's just gorgeously flowing the whole time, it creates just like I don't know.
It just like I like enjoyed the movie a lot, and I hated watching it. Like it's hard to explain. It really is. And yeah, there was like I don't know, a lot of situations like with the nature of gimbals where the motion
In case anybody doesn't know, a gimbal is basically a camera rig that completely stabilizes it.
Yeah, there's like 3 points of access. Your pan, your tilt, and your roll, and it
and this allows fluidity.
Yeah, so any amount of motion that if your hands were to move up, the camera would stay in place and then slowly, stably move up in comparison to your movement. So it kind of just takes out that kind of human shake. This whole, with the nature of gimbals, when somebody moves like this, the camera would sense that and then slowly do a corrected robotic turn for that, and so it becomes really hard to tell the camera exactly what you want the audience to focus on. And like there were a lot of moments, especially at the very end when he's walking through the like kind of med area, where it's like panning through and you're like trying to look at all these faces and whatnot to see like, okay, who looks like the guy, who looks like, they're trying to find his brother, and it never is actually able to go from face to face to face, because it's literally just 2 guys holding a bar that's holding a gimbal, and they just kind of have to point the camera in the right direction and hope it gets the shot.
I thought a lot of times the paths were predictable. Like when he sits against the tree and then it goes in the soldiers, there's just a perfect line for the camera to go through.
And it's like your mind is thinking like, whoa, wow, there's so many people and whatnot. It's like crazy that they were able to get this camera shot through here. And then when it pans back and you see the path that it goes through, it's like there's a horde of people over here and nothing right here that the camera can just walk
you can
through.
See a perfect space that they they trailed. It was silly.
And sometimes the characters in our movie take paths out and away from the path that's the quickest, because that's the route the camera's gonna go. And it's like, why did they go around the long way when they're literally getting shot at? And it's like, oh, it was the gimbal path.
It was the gimbal path.
And
a couple of scenes really did feel like video game cutscenes, man. The one where it's the mine shaft is caving in and he's like, you gotta jump, and he's like, I can't see, trust me.
And he barely jumped for that. It was not a long mine shaft. You just
And it seems like scenes like that, they almost tried to like digitally shake the camera a bit, but it was still on a gimbal.
Yeah, they're not pulling any like JJ moves where they're smacking the sides of the gimbal or anything like that. Just shake a little bit.
But yeah, and the other one was the plane crash, like when it's just like it comes right over the hill and then just crashes, and they go towards the camera, and just like, I thought some of the sequences were just ridiculous, and it's the thing I'm impressed about is the hard work that everybody put into making it, but I just hate to be so negative and say it, but it's just like the end product is, it's kind of just a showpiece. It's like, look what we did. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We
And it's like, I get it. Like our first Vinyl Word episode, like we do a series called Vinyl Word. Very first episode was a 7-minute long one take around the record store. And it's like, so we're not against it. Like we've been in that of just like, yeah, it'd be super cool to do a one take. But that's the thing, like, how long was this movie? Like 2 hours?
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like a 2 hour long one take, just like, I don't know. There are moments where I feel like one takes work, like tracking shots, like Murder on the Orient Express has an amazing fucking
one takes are always cool. They're almost never not cool.
Yeah, it's just there are these moments that where it's like, okay, we're like, they'll stop and they'll talk and whatnot, and then it's like they're walking again. It's like people, when Lord of the Rings came out, they're just like, oh yeah, it's fucking like walk here, the movie.
Scorsese, Wes Anderson, Stephen McQueen, Tarantino, like so many good directors use them.
It's like this movie was walk here, the movie. Like there was so much just like walking and just they're gonna move from one place to the other and just tracking them through it, and like the locations that they go to, like the No Man's Land looks fucking incredible. Like it all looks great, but it's just like, I don't know, I I got nauseated watching just so much motion. I feel like there's maybe 15 minutes out of the movie is like somewhat stationary shots, and the rest of that camera is fucking moving.
I could also tell, I counted, I got about 16 cuts I caught where I was clearly like, that's a cut.
Yep.
Anytime something like fully goes in front like this, it would cut. If it's black, it would cut. Like, you could tell where a lot of them happened.
Yeah, after he cries and crawls out of the river, he like goes in front of a tree and they pan through the tree. There's a cut there. You know, if you know anything about editing, you can.
Most
can find
people
the cuts.
probably won't notice it,
but still, they they have to do they have like sections and whatnot, and so the large sections that you watch that they do in one take, and you can tell that they did multiple takes because a lot of the stuff that you see from the trailers aren't actually shots in the movie. They use different takes of the same shots that they were doing.
You're right.
Like the where the general gives them the mission and whatnot. Audio is completely different.
You're right.
But you know, they and so yeah, it's like they decided to take the best ones, and you know, maybe the trailer they were just like, oh yeah, like, do this, and you know, decided to do it again. But yeah.
And I feel like, truthfully, the movie's trying to sell itself on that, because when these trailers first came out, they were just standard trailers, and nobody was interested. Everybody was like, World War One, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they released, like, I think it was the third or fourth trailer they did, they kept recutting the trailer. They did one with behind the scenes where Sam Mendes is like, oh, just so you know, we did it in one shot, and it's even us. Like, we got recordings of it. Like, oh, we found out that. Now we're interested. Let's see what it is. And it's been hyped up and marketed and built up on the internet.
It's like we didn't even get a chance to see it, and it won a Golden Globe.
And so people might think it's unfair just to like focus on that aspect and criticize it, but it's like, that's kind of what the filmmakers are doing. So we have to focus on that as well.
Yeah.
And it hurt the movie. But then again, like, if they didn't do that, would it be as good, or would it be better? I think it'd be better, but
I
still not great.
I think it'd be. I mean, it needs to, like a better script, and like, I mean, we don't even really get like real character like introduction.
What's this film about? What's it about?
It's about saving a platoon, but like sending a guy to go save his brother in their platoon.
But what's it like? What's it about? Like, what's the meaning of it? Like I was thinking about that the whole time, and a lot of people would say Dunkirk is just about nothing and it's war, but I was thinking about it, and it's about whether or not it's better to stay and fight a battle you know you're gonna lose, or whether or not it's more noble to flee. And at the end, when they get there, the soldiers are all worried that they're gonna get apples thrown at them and be treated as cowards, and they're welcomed home with open arms, and everyone's happy they're alive. And it's like, in this movie, it's like, what is it about? What does it mean to not send the platoon in, to send the second wave in or not? What does it mean?
So this, I mean, based on the ending, it says that, you know, it's based on the stories told by essentially the Mendes, like the guy who we follow. So I'm guessing it's like just historical recollection. It's just like telling people like, hey, here's a story from this time. It's cool, and this is like an emotional experience this guy had. And I mean, you know,
it has no themes. It's pure surface level.
Yeah, it's just. I think it is what it is. It's like there really isn't any like, you know. I mean, it has like themes and whatnot, like, you know.
Yeah. Brotherhood.
Love for your family. Just like surface level.
We've seen all of it before.
Yeah. And it's like, I know that like this movie is based on World War II and not World War I, like 1917, but like comparing this to Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
It's like Saving Private Ryan is technically a way fucking better movie.
There's not as many.
And is paced better, and is just you know, I think shot better too. And like, I don't know, I just I'm like watching this movie. I'm off the gimbal train. Like I don't want.
Oh, we're still using gimbals.
Well,
but,
we have a steady cam. We don't have a gimbal though. That's different. Like,
but we could still get one.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, for certain things. But like, there's never gonna be a situation where I'm like, dude, this whole movie, I want to shoot it in one take on a gimbal, and we're just gonna run around and chase our actors
Make
around.
it look like one
Make
take.
it look like one take. Yeah, I don't know, because there's a thing of like, you know, doing a 7-minute take and then compositing like a bunch of like 15-minute, 10-minute takes onto something, and I don't know, like, so. Can we like do a section where we recommend like movies that have really good one takes? Because one I want to recommend is Hunger. If you haven't seen Steve McQueen's
I thought
Hunger,
about that. I was like, there's a goddamn scene where two guys are sitting at a table and it's more compelling than this.
Seriously, super fucking good one take.
But,
that's my recommendation. If you want.
One of my favorites, and they do a little snip action to make it's 2 long tracking shots made to look like one, is Kill Bill Volume 1, when the bride's in the House of Blue leaves. It follows her from like the bar, goes over to the band, swoops over to Sophie, follows her up the stairs, goes through, meets the bride back again, follows her to the bathroom, gets an above shot, and then when she turns on the lights, it cuts. But it's still made to look like one shot, and it's really short and sweet and awesome. Would Kill Bill be better if the whole fucking thing was one shot?
Yes. Sam Mendes says yes.
No, but the sequence is chosen.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Another thing I want to say is, man, this movie has no tension because there's only 2 people, and based on the trailer, if, you know, you can figure out who's going to die and who's going to make it. That's why most war movies always have a gang, a crew, because anybody needs to be able to die at any moment. And in this one, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, look at Fury as a perfect example. It's
Yeah.
like we get our kid who fucking literally sucks and is like talks shit on and fucking lets people die and all this stuff, and Brad Pitt's just like, you did this, you fucking
You did
you watch them die, and then yeah, it turned like everybody that you enjoyed in the movie, like fucking, you know, spoiler alert. But yeah, it's like this one we really only connect with 2 characters, and one of them passes, and we kind of get like he loves his brother.
Oh, I didn't connect with either of them. One of them tells funny stories, the other one's mad.
The themes are there, but they're just like, I don't know, just they're not. It wasn't strong enough. It didn't like and I feel like the one take is like the biggest reason for that. It's constantly just like, okay, we got to go, and it tries to have these emotional moments where we get a little bit more connected with the characters, but you just end up not getting to spend enough time with them in the moment. And yeah, there's a lot of things with the gimbal and crane, like when like one of the first shots where like they actually put it on a crane and they're like going through the like giant crater and whatnot to get to the other side, and it's kind of floating over the water.
And then they do it again with a bridge in the water.
Yeah, it's like, and in that shot they like look over, and it's like in a normal shot movie we would have probably got a point of view shot of what they were seeing, and then got an idea like, oh, there's a pathway over there, and then saw them coming up and down, but we don't see any of that. They have to explain that they see what's going on, and then the camera eventually catches up to them once they decide what to do. And yeah, just the nature of keeping it all one take, it has to tell instead of showing you, because it's limited by the fact that the camera placement in the like space of the scene is connected by the single take. You can't have the camera teleport from one spot to another to get a different angle. It has to move, and there has to be time to get there. And it like Dakota said, it limited them in what they were able to do, rather than have it, like the style of it wasn't enough to save it in the end.
I probably would have been more impressed if it wasn't hyped up. Like, if I didn't know and I walked in and I'm just watching it, and then maybe like 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, this is all one big tracking shot. And then just like 20 minutes, just be like, whoa, they're still going. I would have been intrigued.
Yeah.
And the movie would have kind of sucked me in, and I would have been like, are they gonna cut? Is it when? But going in, I'm just like, all right, one-shot movie, let's see what you got. Because they've been hyping it up. And
that's a really interesting topic, man. I honestly, I haven't thought of that, of like, what a movie would be like if you saw it blind versus having it built up in some way. And I'm thinking of Gemini Man as an example. Like, it made my top 2 worst, okay, of 2019. I hated it. Okay, and the reason that it did that for me is because it was advertised as like, we're gonna see just the next age of de-aging CGI, and Will Smith is gonna just like kill it and act off himself. How would I have reacted to that movie if if the twist of like there's a young Will Smith assassin wasn't featured in the trailers? It was just an old Will Smith getting hunted down by somebody who's way better than him, and then we find out in the movie that it's actually a clone of him rather than that being revealed in the trailers.
It's just advertised as spy versus spy.
Yeah, exactly. How would I feel about it? I don't know. I can't ever experience that because Hollywood fucking sucks.
That's part of the fun of tracking shots, though, is when you're watching a movie the first time and you're just like, ooh, they haven't cut.
Yeah.
And then it just sucks you in, and you don't know when they're gonna cut.
Yeah, I think like
kudos
I said,
to this movie for not using time lapse.
Yeah,
I was curious about that because that's what Birdman does. Birdman cuts during all the parts where it's dark, and then just keeps the camera still, uses a time lapse, and keeps going. However, they did do it and make it look like it's in one shot. This one's 2. It's fucking 2. It's like, it's not one shot. Sorry. Lion King is not live action, and this is not a one-shot movie. It is a 2-shot.
Shots fired.
It's not. It's just a fucking fact.
Okay, so next thing I want to talk about in this movie is when we encounter the French girl. So the beginning of this, I really liked. I really liked how she was just like, "There's nothing here. Please leave. Go away, sir." Like, just like, au revoir.
I agree. I liked it at first too.
And
it showed someone surviving.
Yeah, and then I liked the dialogue that they had back and forth where they're trying to like piece together each other's language, but they both know a little bit of French or a little bit of English.
And then it turns into a sexy heal your wound scene.
And they magically just like start communicating with terms that each other like just naturally know.
Might not. Yeah.
Like, there's little bits here and there, but like the second half of the scene, they're communicating pretty much back and forth, and like the only there's like single words that they'll interpret and be like, "Oh, that milk, here's the reason why I found milk at the," like, I don't know.
Paid off.
Yeah, it's just like, and in like in a technical aspect, it's like, oh yeah, the milk paid off.
No, it didn't.
That's technically a movie thing, and it's like, yeah, technically, but it's fucking just, it's like dirty milk that he found and stuck his like dirty hand in.
We forgot
that he just stuck in a corpse. And he's gonna feed it to an infant.
He was not dirty enough too. Like the moment they escaped the tunnel, his hair's looking shiny on top. I'm like, motherfucker, you were buried in the rock.
Yeah, and like I was like, when he stuck his hand with the barbed wire and then it goes in I was just like, I was hoping they were going to do some sort of infection thing. But then again, that's the problem with doing stuff in one take, is the time frame. It wouldn't even have enough time for him to like get an infection to fucking have any payoff for that. It's like, we don't even know what happened to his hand. We're going to have to fucking Wikipedia this guy and be like, did he lose his hand? What about his hand? What about the corpse hand?
Did he get antibiotics? Were they around at that point? I don't think so.
No, I mean, I think they had antibiotics.
Yeah, I think it was like the dawn of antibiotics.
Yeah, I think in like the 1800s they had antibiotics, didn't they? I'll look it up later. It's something that's interesting. People might think we're fucking stupid.
I'm trying to look up what kind of yeah, right. Most people don't even consider that. I'm trying to look up what kind of camera this was shot on, but phone's being slow.
Yeah. But yeah, if anybody's concerned about our knowledge of bacteria, we go to school in Oregon, which has one of the highest dropout rates in like, all of America. So like, you know, there you go. I feel like we're doing pretty good.
Not us though.
Not us. We graduate. Okay.
So yeah, the performances were okay. Honestly, this is probably gonna fucking win Best Picture this year at the Oscars. It's like
it's not this. It's 2020. It's like it didn't come out fucking in 2019.
What do you mean?
Like this like.
Oh,
it's a 2020 movie. It was released this year.
It was limited in 2019, though. I'm pretty sure.
No, fucking fuck my dick. Like, no way, dude. No way. It don't count.
No, it's part of the 2019, dude. It's part of the.
That is some bullshit. It doesn't count. It was
counts.
released in 2020.
It was wide released. It was limited released. I promise you.
I mean, regardless, man, I think it's bullshit.
All right, it's loading.
Like we didn't even get a chance to see it.
So
until this year, and it's like it's gonna be part of the fucking. It's like
there was another aspect of how they limited themselves. So all the trench tracking shots, you know, a lot of them were obviously kind of homages to Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory, which has a lot of just awesome, just like trench tracking shots. But like in this one, it's just like the point of every single one is they have to get somewhere. And it's just point A to point B. Where in Paths of Glory, there are some of them where it's just like, you know, it's showing Kirk Douglas like looking at everybody, and then it cuts to like a POV of him. And the point, some of them are like he's encouraging his men and he believes in them, and some of them he sympathizes with his men, and all of it, the camera is using, the shots tell a story and what it focuses on. And this one, it's just like they're tracking them from point A to point B. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the point of all the gimbal and crane shots is we need to track these guys. And yeah, honestly, I feel like it took me out of the experience more than it immersed me in it. Like what Sam Mendes wanted. It's just like the most immersive, experience to be with these soldiers is to do it in one take, and it's like
I'm gonna be pissed. It should not get a Best Screenplay Oscar, like without a doubt, because it's gonna get a throwaway one if it wins. Fucking bullshit, man.
Is it really gonna take one of the like the noms?
Dude, it's already sweeping, man. It's one of like the
for Best Screenplay.
I mean, for everything else, like it's getting nominated a lot and winning half the time. It's won Best Drama several times, and it's a safe pick. Yeah. Well, this thing won't load, and I think, is there anything else you want to say? We weren't fans of 1917.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like we're
gonna go see A Hidden Life soon.
Yeah, that's one I'm really excited for. Cinematic orgasms. All right, let's talk about trailers.
All right, Antebellum. This one's odd. It's like slavery meets modern times, but it's like
we talked about it, but like I remember it a lot more now. It's like she's being ripped back and forth between two different time frames.
That's what it seems like.
The modern day and like slavery age America.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'll see it. 007. I'm not a fan of James Bond, but this is shot on 70mm, so I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, it looks cool to me. It looks like they're getting more comic booky with it, which is what I like.
Bringing in a bunch of villains instead of just one.
And it seems like, I don't know, it seems like I don't know much about all the 007 and kind of how like I guess like character driven it is in terms of its villains, but this villain seems very unique.
Each movie has one villain, and this one I think it's all reoccurring villains from the Daniel Craig era.
Okay. Because because yeah, it looks like, I don't know, very very comic booky, very
Just one-eyed villains and masks.
yeah,
and
masks
like,
and fucking transforming gun cars and all this, like, I don't know, just like crazy stuff. It seems like it's really cool. Kind of reminds me of like Hideo Kojima games, like the Solid Snake series and whatnot. It's just like, I don't know, super spy and like crazy eccentric like villains. I'm interested.
Mulan.
It's a Disney movie. I'll check it out.
Last goal measure. Is that right, or did I spell something wrong?
I think you spelled something wrong.
Last goal measure.
Go ahead and look it up.
Quiet Place 2, go check out our review.
Yeah, we got a trailer reaction for Quiet Place 2.
And Harley Quinn, we've got a trailer reaction for that as well. Last full measure? I don't know.
I'm thinking it's probably Full Measure.
I don't remember, but The Turning, that one looks, it could be bad. What do you think? I'll watch it, but it's
The Turning,
horror movie with the kids. I don't know, the more I see it, the less interested I am.
Yeah, Invisible Man as well.
Whoa, I thought this trailer looked good, honestly. Because this one focused more on, like, the other trailer just seemed like it was like he's just like, it's the whole movie's just going to be her, like, stalking her in bed and shit. But this one showed him, like, just fucking with everyday things in her life, like turning on the stove and just
did
like
that in the first one.
and increasing. I guess this one just did it a little better, and it's just
it showed, like, her going to the insane asylum, and like he actually thinks that, or people thinks that she's insane and that he's driving her insane.
Yeah,
but like,
this one just showed more, and apparently it's super gory. So I don't know. I'm more open to seeing it.
She needs to throw flour on him. Flower power.
I'm assuming it's Last Full Measure. Yeah, Last Full Measure. Oh, that's the fucking. Man, I don't know what to think of this one. The Vietnam movie. With the really bad desaturated fucking cinematography or the color grading whenever it's flashes back to Vietnam.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to do kind of like a Dark Waters thing.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, is this a super pro-war thing? And then it was like, wait, no, it's an anti-war thing? What?
And I was like, what? Yeah.
Maybe it's just a neutral, honest movie. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, yeah, because it starts out, it's just like, yeah, telling a story about a war hero. And then it's like, oh, yeah, he was a war hero, all right. He saved everybody, and everyone loved him. And it's like, he never should have been there. Why? Because we were fighting ourselves. We were killing our own men. Just fucking, we don't know why.
I'll tell you what, though, the cast for this, some big names, and the fact that they got so many big names, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll see it for Sam Jackson.
It doesn't look good, though. I don't know. Sam Jackson is, the main thing.
You mean Kurt Russell?
That's an inside joke. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't look good, though. That's it. Yeah, 1917. Just overhyped.
Yeah, it was a movie. It's like, go check it out. I'm still a little dizzy from it. I'm gonna go just like not do a lot until we go and see our next movie tonight.
Underwear.
Fucking double feature. UNUND UNDE UNDE